Hello. Uh, I just realized I was looking at my face. I shaved yesterday, so looking more. Hello and welcome back. Uh, let's do a video today, all right? And the script is don't chase dreams, chase your ideals. Dreams are to be followed. In that cue, all right? Don't chase dreams, chase your ideals. Dreams are to be followed. Uh, so ideals is the thing I was diving into last year. 2025. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Uh, yeah, I was probably going through an anime phase. So let me just moving forward. For me, there's like an awkward balance of. I feel when I first started, it was basically, does it fit? I'm sure I can connect it to don't chase the dream. But okay, hear me out. Let's just go logically. How the dream is basically what I would say about this. What I would say about this? What I would say about this script. An accident almost happened in front of me. This is not a good place to focus. So don't chase dreams. And the idea behind it is kind of like, you chase after your ideals. And if you think about your ideals, they're on the opposing side of who you are, right? They're somewhere. Ideally, I am, for example, a guy that does not bite his nails, right? And I'm consistently with that, by the way. Don't worry about it. And the idea is literally like, that's what I do. I bite my nails. And an ideal me does not, period. So moving towards my ideals is kind of like moving away from the current self that does something a certain kind of way. Because your ideal self explores the world the way you would, the way you're aiming to be, right? So moving after your ideals is, I think, again, like I don't think the word chase should work because the idea is that I'm just using it here from chasing dreams. Because if I feel the ideal, all you have to do is like reach out to it and grab it. And then the minute you grab it, that's just you with like very low experience. So what you do is you get better experience as you kind of like build around that ideal more. In a way, you're kind of like moving towards the you who is in that ideal state, a community. Why the fuck not? It's a conceptual thing again. But all it takes is a declaration. But the idea I was saying this is because like I remember the anime phase, and hear me out. It's kind of like what happens with me, or for 10 years, I kind of was completely just running after everything. And then after that, I realized how horrible everything was. Or at the very least, how like it was not even close to what I was thinking of doing or what I wanted to do. So when I came back, I decided to like start doing things differently. And that alone is an endeavor that kind of like requires hardcore discipline, which I trust to be a good thing. I trust that discipline is a good thing. But hardcore discipline, I think that David Goggins type shit. I'm not going to say I don't think it's worth it. I think I'm saying we could be smart enough not to go to that extreme, right? I think we could smart enough to kind of like to assess, to analyze, to just check on, to be able to like build that relationship with ourselves, right? I'm more of a benevolent dictator kind of approach instead of just, instead of a tyrant approach. The reason I say that is because like, for 10 years I kind of like didn't know what to do. So when I came, I didn't know what to kind of like balance. which parts should I kind of like this or that, like these kinds of engagements. So in the process, I started realizing there are kind of like states of mind. There are states of mind where I'm completely like, sitting there, chilling, hanging out, and kind of doing the bare minimum. But at the very least, that for me was consistency and a lot of discipline. Although I'd always test where I can do stuff, and I'd always go change different environments. So I was also very consistent in my like testing, testability, what would you call it? I was very consistent in my in change. Like I'd completely look at something, be like, if I am feeling very unproductive around it, if I'm feeling like it's not really supporting what I'm trying to do, then I kind of started developing an idea or a way for me to kind of like realize when I'm not really like being able to do something or get something done. Because again, we are kind of like, I'm looking at when you're trying to build a startup or when you're trying to finish a project, you kind of have an idea of how it looks like. And personally, that's what I would call an ideal, right? And that space, it's like you're no longer chasing after like the project itself. You're kind of like, again, I don't want to use the term chase because I don't know why I chased it, but it's not about the project itself, but it's basically about like like, why the project makes sense, why you would want to actually like build something like that. It's about all of these kinds of things. And those are kind of like, whoever you are that finished the project versus whoever you are that didn't. And it's fun. It's the most fun thing to kind of like look at and be like, I always ask myself the question. And it became the easiest thing to do because like ultimately, what I'm trying to build has people engaging a certain kind of way with each other. So are people engaging that kind of way with each other? No. Then you're not, I'm not there, which means I need to be able to like look at where there is and understand why I'm still not there. Or I need to look at where I am right now and understand why there is not closer to me. And all of these kind of like conversations become a thing, become where I'm just always checking the distance between, I don't want to say the end result, between that existing and the, and the current moments where it doesn't exist. And I think the reason I wrote the script is not necessarily to discuss that growth patterns that we create for ourselves and how we develop these patterns. Again, it's a simple pattern though, right? Because like, there's what you know, what you want to know, and the relationship between them. There's you, what you know, and the relationship between them. That's it. So there's that thing that I know, and I know about, I know it's whatever it is, and my knowledge is based on what I actually, how I interact with it. It could be complete ignorance, and it could be like detailed everyday. I don't know what. So what happens is basically like you build a relationship with that through your original knowledge. You understand that relationship. You change a bit, and then it changes. Because it changes with you change with a bit more information added to you, and it changes because that information paints the world differently. And then you do that, and then you go back to what's it called, to the relationship, and you check how that relationship became. And then when you realize that, you kind of change again, and then when you change, the world changes, and so that looks different. Amazing. It goes. But the idea is like dreams are to be followed. Why? Because a dream is not a thing. A dream is a state. A dream is an exploration, an expansion of a certain kind of like image you have. And I'm assuming like because a dream is image, right? Or a story you tell, or a feeling, man, right? These are the things that basically like these are the elements of like any play, any scene. There's always these kinds of things that are kind of floating about when people are connecting to something. So a dream is something that kind of like is not real. It's something that lives in your head. And chasing your dreams, it seems more like a burning of energy. But when it comes to your ideals, because those you can explore, but the dream you can't. The only way you can explore the dream is if you bring it to reality. And reality, your reality and the world are different things. So if you bring the dream to reality, I dreamt about this, or I'm dreaming about this, okay, like how would this become a thing? That's reality. And then you kind of like apply and test through the world. And here we go. We built a three-dimensional relationship as well. With everything, by the way. It's just fascinating. I actually had a theory around it the other day. Maybe I'll talk to you about it sometime soon. But imagine dreams to be states, so you can't chase after them because they're not really moving. But the ideal you that manages the dream some kind of way or lives in it some kind of way has a distance between you and them. So, like, that becomes the route that needs to be covered, right? And I'm not necessarily a believer that we go anywhere. I think like you decide something, you kind of say that one, and then you start giving it more time and including it in your day. And after you do that, then suddenly you become that thing. You grow with that thing. You explore with that thing. And our biggest issues is we can't see shit as human beings, and that's the beauty of having a dream. But then we're chasing it the same way we go to work. That doesn't really work. It doesn't make sense because a dream is a new state in which work exists. That would be a good way to actually describe it. A dream is a new state of which work exists. So amazing. You get me? Yeah, whatever, I love you guys. That's a video. Woo!